everybody, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to play Save Tonight by Eagle Eye Cherry. And this is a 4-chord wonder, which means it's the same 4 chords in the exact same order the entire way through. So once you can play like the first 5 seconds of the song, you can do the whole thing. Now if you find along the way that you need some extra help, I have a few resources for that. There's my free ebook, which goes over all the basics, chord switching, strumming, putting it all together. I have my complete beginner's course, which does that, but in 1,000 times more depth. And it's just meant to gradually take you from, never having touched a guitar all the way to being able to play a song like this and a bunch more. And I also have a chord chart for this available on my Patreon, which has everything that we're going to do in this lesson written down for your convenience. Anyways, we're going to just get started with the chord shapes. Our first one is A minor. And from there we switch to an F chord. And for this tune, I find that the easier way to play it is actually better. So I'd prefer if you play it this way, even if you're pretty good with that bar chord. Going from A minor, we can leave our first finger down, and then we make our F shape by adding our middle finger to the 2nd fret of G, pinky finger on the 3rd fret of the D string, and then our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. We get our thumb lightly touching that thicker string so that it doesn't ring out. That's our easy F shape. You can just practice going between A minor and that a couple times. Then we have C, and from this shape, it's pretty easy to switch to C. These 2 fingers, they're already where they need to be. I'm on my F chord, I leave those 2 fingers down, and then my middle finger just has to go to the 2nd fret of the D string to complete the C shape. And then we have G, which I'd like to play this way. We can play it this way, but since we're coming from a C chord, it's really easy to just take these 2 fingers and move them that way, and then add our pinky. And from that G chord, we would make the switch back into A minor. So I would practice that. You basically look at our progression here, A minor, F, C, and G, and you want to make the transition between each of those. A minor to F, F to C, C to G, and then G back to the start, back to A minor. So work on all of those. If you need extra help or you want something to practice along with, my free ebook has a bunch of free videos that come with it. I'll put a link to a playlist down below so you can just look through it. Otherwise, we're just going to practice these chord shapes, downstrokes only, just to make sure that we get the switching right and we can do them rhythmically. Starting off on A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Now that we've spent our time with our chord shapes and we know how to work on them if we need to put some extra work into that, we can take a look at our strumming pattern, and it goes like this. I'll do it slowly. 3 and 4 and. Now the first thing you're going to notice is that I'm switching chords halfway through the strumming pattern. So that in itself is going to provide a certain amount of challenges. Let's just ignore it for the time being, and let's just do this on the A minor chord. So we'll do the whole thing on the A minor chord. And we're going to break it down into halves. The first half is simple enough. We have 4 beats, and on beat 1, 2, and 3, those are all 1 downstroke each. And then on beat 4, we have a down up. So 3 downs and a down up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Let's try it again. 3, 4. Down, second half is pretty much the same thing, except on beat 1, we have a down up. So down up, down, down, and then a down up. And once again, just think about the numbers. You know, on beat 1, it's a down up. 2 and 3, those are both downstrokes. And then 4 is a down up. 3, 4. Down, up, down, 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 up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, up, down, 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 up. Now, when you put this together, you'll see when I join the two halves, we have a bunch of down ups all in a row. So I recommend counting out loud so you can keep track of where all that stuff is. You know, let's just try it a whole bunch of times. That's the best way, is to just repetition over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. And if you're having trouble with this, don't worry, I'm going to show you a simpler solution in a second, but let's learn it how it is on the recording first. All we have left to do is to add that switch. So from A minor to F, down, 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 up, F. And you can switch on that first upstroke. On beat 4 of the A minor chord, down, 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 switch. You know, you can hear it when I go ultra slow, but once you speed it up, you'll barely notice it, right? So you can switch there if you need the extra time to switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3. Down, up, down, up. 2. 1, 2, 3, down, up. So we split it between A minor and F, and then we have to split it between C and G. So I recommend practicing that, just going down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. And this is going to take a lot of repetition to make it comfortable, but that's what you have to do. Just try it over each of those. You know, just take your time. You can go through it as many times as you need to. And once you have that at like a pretty comfortable pace, that's it. You can play the song. You know, there's a couple finishing touches we can add, but that's all there is to it. That's the beauty of a 4-chord wonder. You know, once you figure out the 4 chords and the strumming, you got it. And if you're still finding that it's not coming together, all you have to do is just play the first half 2 times. You'll see it's practically the same thing. We're just cutting out a single upstroke. So that might be a little easier. Just do the first half of the pattern, just down, 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 up. Then you switch, same thing. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up. And that's totally acceptable. It's gonna sound almost the same, but it's not exactly what they're doing on the recording. So I thought I'd show you both ways. So take your time with that, and when you're ready, we're gonna play it together nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the only thing we have left to do is add a couple of embellishments. We're going to add it to the A minor chord and to the C chord. So on the A minor chord, it'll go like this. I'll do it slower. So I'm starting off with my first finger down where it belongs, but these two fingers, they're ready to go, but they're lifted a little bit, you know, and the better you get, the less you have to lift them. I'm just lifting them up just to show you, but really, if you're playing this up to speed, it would be like that, you know, just from like 1/2 centimeter above, and you can make that hammer. And you just want to slam your fingers down as hard as you can. That's actually all there is to it. Precision is more important than force. You know, getting them in the right spot is more important than pushing hard. Because if you're pushing hard and you miss, it's not going to make the right thing anyways. And the more precise and the more you use your fingertips, the easier it is to get that power and get that pressure, transfer it into the strings. So just try that a whole bunch of times. This is something that the first time I did it, it sounded like nothing. You know, it takes a long time, but just keep working on it as time goes on. I have a video about improving your hammer-on strength. I'll put a link to that down below. So we do that on the A minor chord. Just 1 and 2, 3, 4, and. So the way it works into our strumming pattern is it's on the and after 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I recommend just doing it exactly like that over and over again. And then for the C chord, we have a really similar thing. We have our shape down. I'm going to lift my middle finger and then I'm going to hammer it where it belongs on that chord. Same rhythm and everything. 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4 and. So work through that with the progression. We'll do it a few times slowly. 3, 4. Now the last thing that I need to show you is how to get the rhythm to sound like tight and compressed. You know, instead of being open like going like this. And this, in order to do it effectively, it's going to take a long time before you really get it to sound how you like. But today we can get started on that. You know, we're going to be palm muting a little bit, and when we palm mute, what that means is we're taking our hand and we're overlapping a tiny bit of the strings. Not too much. Like, I maybe want to overlap that much, like 1/2 centimeter. You know, you can always just experiment, but I'm taking my palm and I am overlapping a little bit of the strings as I strum. And downstrokes are pretty easy with this, but upstrokes, sometimes they'll kind of ring out. It takes a bit. So first thing I want you to do is just take your A minor chord and just downstrokes. You know, see how much palm muting you need. If you come out too much, you'll completely kill the sound. Not enough, you'll have some strings ringing out. So you get your palm mute, and then try some upstrokes. It's okay if they're a little bit open. That's just gonna happen, and even when you listen to the recording, you'll hear that. Now let's try to make the motion a bit bigger. Let's leave the guitar. So our downstrokes are going to be muted, but our upstrokes are not. And that's the second place that you'll want to be. So first is just seeing how muted, how perfect you can get your mute. Then adding a little bit of jumpiness to it, you know, because once we start strumming it, our hand is going to be leaving a little bit. It's going to be leaving it and coming back. And we have to get used to that. So I recommend doing this to develop that looseness. And then I recommend trying the first half of the strumming pattern, going down, 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 up. So see how my hand is leaving it, but it's still muted? It's because when I go back down, my hand goes, then my pick goes. You know, I go hand, pick. You know, just experiment with it. You only have downstrokes and upstrokes. Those are the only two ingredients. And adding your palm to mute it. And, you know, as we're strumming it, you can't just leave our palm down. No, you could. You actually, it totally works fine, you know. So this is something, like I said, you have to experiment with. There's no precise way to do it. Every guitar player does it a little bit differently because their hand is shaped a bit differently, their guitar is shaped differently, they have a different amount of energy, they want it to sound more muted, less muted. You know, it's such a wide spectrum. You're playing with the tone of your guitar here. You're manually adjusting it, and it's going to require, you know, a lot of attention, a lot of care. So don't worry if it doesn't sound amazing right away. This is something that you just got to take your time with and just go through it gradually, like I just showed you. And, you know, once you do it, let's just try it with the shapes a little bit, and then that'll be it for today. 3, 4. So I'm super muting here. Let's try to open it a little bit. Get a bit more open. So barely muting it, just a little bit on some of the downstrokes. And also, when you play it faster, I find it is a bit easier. So once you get into the groove of it, once you're comfortable with the song, it's easier to get it to sound muted. You know, when we're doing it slowly, there's just so much time for every single chord to ring out. So if you accidentally do get like a full upstroke, you'll really hear it. Whereas once you speed it up, it just feels easier to make it tight, you know, once you've sped it up. So keep that in mind. If it sounds absolutely horrible when you're practicing it slowly, maybe it'll sound good when you speed it up a little bit, and maybe it's just going to take a little bit more work, you know, something's going to click. This is something that I'm still working on, you know, so don't be hard on yourself if it doesn't sound right. Don't think that you're not going to be able to do it. Remember, just take it gradually. Anyways, that's how you play Save Tonight by Eagle Eye Cherry. It's just a 4-chord wonder. If you need any extra help, there's my free ebook, my beginner's course, Barre Chords Made Easy, if you're interested in playing the full bar chord version of F. And yeah, if you need any extra help, please ask away in the comments. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.